What's going on, people? Welcome to United View and welcome to your latest Manchester United update, your latest transfer news, your latest goings on at Man United. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. This one we got to get straight into because there was a big development today with David De Gea.
Yes.
The polarizing talk, as per usual. Will he, won't he? What's going on? Some people, well, actually, no, not really, will he, won't he? It's more within the fan base, actually. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, we need a new keeper. He can't do anything. He can't kick properly. Distribution, new age keepers are amazing and they need to be able to play in central midfield. Versus the other argument, he's amazing. He still makes massive saves. He's still the best keeper in the world. And basically, I've gone to both extremes on each side.
Massively.
just to I don't know, just because I felt like it. But you know what I mean. There's
that's really football social media. It's no real grey area, is there? It is either in or out, best or worst, amazing, awful.
Do you know what I mean?
That is it. Pick a side.
I think that's why I've gone with that, because I feel like just reading some of the people's tweets and when this news broke about David De Gea, just seeing the reaction, I was just like, whoa. You'd think we'd literally got the worst person in the world between the net. And anyway, we'll get there. David De Gea contract update. Apparently, he has rejected the first offer from Man United.
Yes.
Owen, what is it? What have we got there?
Yes, well, the development is that we're kind of as we were, to be honest, when it comes to David De Gea. It was a big piece written by Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic this morning, saying that David De Gea has turned down Manchester United's first offer of a new contract. So you would see that and you'd go, whoa, turned down. What's going on there? But they continue by saying, but at this stage, negotiations are expected to reach a positive conclusion. De Gea recognises that he must take a salary reduction to stay at Manchester United, but feels that his performances this season still rank him as one of Ten Hag's most important players, and remuneration should follow accordingly. Basically saying, I'm willing to take a pay cut, but I'm still playing well. I'm still doing well. I'm still one of the more important players, and I should be compensated as such. During this season, Erik Ten Hag reportedly has come to appreciate David De Gea's worth and is happy for him to be his goalkeeper for future years, which is a key sentence there, Flex, there. He, according to the report, according to Laurie Whitwell, he is happy, Ten Hag, for David De Gea to be his goalkeeper for future years. The sense is that he feels other positions require strengthening first, specifically a centre forward. However, Ten Hag has given his blessing for De Gea to continue at Manchester United. Tony Cotton, United's chief goalkeeping scout, has been scouring Europe for 6 months and is not yet completely sold on a replacement, especially at the prices being mentioned. So kind of a combination of everything there. And a little bit just to add on at the end was from Fabrizio Romano, who basically said De Gea wants to stay, United want to keep him, discussions are ongoing, all parties remain optimistic. So you've got quite a lot there, a lot of different points. First of all, he turned down the first contract offer, but the expectation is he's going to stay. Ten Hag wants him to stay. Ten Hag likes him. Ten Hag has been convinced and impressed by him. So again, he wants him. In addition to that, whilst they were searching for potential replacements and potential options, one, they weren't convinced of the quality, which again, all of these people say, all of these different keepers, all of these scouts and Ten Hag go, I'm not too convinced. And the ones they maybe were convinced by, they said, not at that price. It's not worth it because we've got more pressing concerns. Does that sound familiar, Flex? Because I feel like we've had that conversation and that conclusion several times.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, where it's at, is what we predicted. I said, I think he'll be the number one next year. I think Ten Hag wants him to be the number one next year. And on top of that, because it isn't all footballing side, on top of that, there are financial constraints as well, i.e., we need to spend big on a striker. What's that going to look like? We want to improve midfield again. What's that going to look like? And also, we don't know how much we're going to have to spend because of obviously the owners, etc., etc. But I think even away from that, I just trust Ten Hag. I just think Ten Hag, I think he thinks he'll be okay with him for at least another year. And I'm not angry. I'm just not mad at that. I mean, there's so many people that are mad at that. There's so many people that have said, we'll just back the Ten Hag, we'll back the manager, whatever he says, believe in him. And now he thinks this. It's like, we're really going to see who thinks that. And I'm not saying that, if you want David De Gea to go and you disagree with Ten Hag, you can disagree with a manager that you want to keep. I'm not saying this is about Ten Hag out. I just have to make that. Because I feel when you start talking strongly on stuff, people just start saying what you're not saying. Do you know what I mean? So I always feel like
there's selective hearing on
and
a
it's
lot of
so
things. I've
annoying.
noticed.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I just like. Even with the tweet that I put out earlier on, and it's like you look at the comments, it's just like Twitter's just not the place to say this in these characters because it's just what it is. But that is the beauty of football. It is about opinion, but I just want it to be about opinion, but also just about what we do and don't say, at least. But I just think I just see this so simply. Like I don't see this as a massive. Oh, we're going to be stuck with him again. Oh God, look. For me, the primary function of a keeper is still to save shots. Call me old school. Call me you're stuck in the past. Call me, the same thing what everyone else says. Pep did this, got rid of Hart. Arteta did this, got rid of Leno straight away. All phased him out. Basically, brought in Ramsdale. All of these examples that people give me, I get that, and everyone look fine, no problem. But me personally, I've seen this team improve with David De Gea in it. And I've seen this team because it's not where it needs to be and not where it wants to be, still need to have a proper shot stopper in there. Somebody who's going to make big saves. And he's done it time and time again this season. I'm not going to sit here with rose-tinted glasses on and act like it's okay that David De Gea's distribution is the way it is. All of a sudden, obviously, the magnitude on it now because of the way we want to play. But also, I do feel that we shouldn't overlook the fact of the fundamentals of the game. And if you've got a keeper, you could talk about the game's moved on and stuff like that. But for me, you have to be absolutely sure that the person you're going to bring in is going to be the right person. You have to obviously have the funds available because people know that Man United are going to be looking for a keeper. That's going to come at a premium, I guess. And me personally, I'm just comfortable with it will change. I think it will change when it needs to change. And or if serious money becomes available where we can just go, do you know what? Boom, just do it now. I think Ten Hag knows the financial constraints that are placed upon him. And he is putting all of his resources and eggs into one basket of sorting out the striker situation. And you could argue that, well, we're Man United and we should be able to fix this and fix that. And this is still a rebuild. We're still not the Man United that we want to see. We're still not as well run as City, like when Pep came in and he had a wealth of resources where he could just go. Let's not forget, he got rid of Joe Hart, fair enough. Then that didn't work. Got rid of that. Was it Navas or was it Bravo?
Claudio Bravo, for a season, he was awful.
He said
he was playing Willy Caballero for ages.
Right. Said, that's shit. Get me another one. Yeah. Right now, until we get new owners and you don't know. Right now, we don't have that luxury. Right now, Eric Ten Hag is working under the Glazers. He's working under Glazonomics. He's working under... he's working under having to go and get Wout Weghorst for 4 million quid, guys. Like, can we just take a step back to think, right, okay, cool. He may not be able to just go and change that position right now. And even me, I know that's my opinion. I don't know that to be true. But also, I just think the lack of respect De Gea is receiving in this, like he's washed and can't do anything. I just don't get it.
He hasn't been doing anything.
He hasn't been doing anything this season. And people say like, yeah, but think how much better the team could be if you change him now. We'll go to this next level. We'll do this. And I just disagree. I just don't think that you change David De Gea and all of a sudden our problems are done. We still need to invest in ball retention in terms of midfield and get different midfielders in. We still need to invest up front, has to be absolutely paramount. Then we need to work out backup up front as well, because everyone's slating Martial and saying, sell him, he's not this, he's not that. Everyone's saying Weghorst ain't good enough. So what happens when we go and buy Harry Kane or Osimhen or whatever, and we only got one recognised striker next season? Has everyone forgot that? So for me, it's just much ado about, not nothing, because it is something, but I just think it's just been blown up way more than it needs to. I just trust what Eric Ten Hag's doing, personally. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's funny because for all of these people that will say, like you sort of hinted at there, that, De Gea is part of a wider problem, of how we're playing or our future. I know it's a cop-out to say, well, if Ten Hag, makes the decision, then I'm happy with it. But I think at the same time, he probably knows more than us and sort of the wider fan base. And clearly he's doing a good job. So if Ten Hag is happy with him this season, and I'm sure he is, because again, like there has been every season, there have been games that we've come out of it and we've gone, I tell you what, if David De Gea weren't playing today, it could have been a different story.
And just quickly, Owen, have we done that more than we've done he stopped us winning today. We didn't win because
Yeah,
of him.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. And this is my point too. I'm not blind to saying he is the best distributor in the league or in Europe, because he ain't. He's not. That's factually accurate. Of course he's not. But at the same time, like, he's winning us more points than he's dropping us, forcing us to drop points, in my opinion. And I also say this about goalkeepers because I know it myself. Mistakes happen. Even the goalkeepers that can ping the ball out on and land it on a person's feet, they make mistakes. Alisson's made a couple this season. Edison will make mistakes as well. When you play that style,
I think it was against Newcastle.
Yeah, when you play that style of football,
it happens.
you will make mistakes as a goalkeeper. It happens. And again, and you don't see people go, yeah, he's terrible at Edison or Alisson, he's rubbish. No, the general consensus is it happens. I'm comfortable with the position that we're at the moment. I 100% agree. The contract that he's on at the moment, that is not sustainable. There's a reason United haven't triggered the extension. They could if they wanted to, but they're right in their mind. They say, I know it's a little bit less because we weren't in the Champions League this season, but 375, 350, way too much. Way too much. That is, you have to be the best top goalkeeper in the world to be on that, and he's not that. And he's not dumb as well, because he realizes, I can't, that's stupid. I can't be on that. It was an inflated contract at the time in which my stock was maybe a little bit higher.
I'm no longer the most important player. At that point, he was our best player. He was our best player.
So again, he's not dumb when it comes to that. They put in the first offer. It was maybe a little bit lower than we thought. We don't know what the offer is, or he thought rather. Don't know what the offer is. But okay, he said no, but they'll get there, and it will be less. On top of that, like they're saying, is kind of what we've been saying, even if we're taken over by Sheikh Jassim, the 9-2 Foundation, we've got this Qatari wealth. Don't expect huge transfer spend in the summer, because from an FFP point of view, our hands are kind of tied anyway. So again, if that is the case, we're saying in terms of priority positions, striker first, maybe even another striker, backup. Then we're talking about midfielder. Then we're talking about defenders. Why would you then make it more difficult for yourself to find a goalkeeper to replace someone like David De Gea, who, one, might not be as good in terms of what De Gea is doing right now? Granted, he might be a bit better when it comes to distribution, but at the same time, like they're saying, they've had a look. And from what they're hearing, they're going, well, any good goalkeeper is going to cost us 60, 70, maybe even 80. Again, depending on what our owners could be, it could be a lot more than that. And they're just saying at the moment, it's not as high a priority. It's not going to hurt us next season. It's not like, we didn't qualify for the Champions League, or we didn't win anything last season because we had David De Gea in goal. Let's put that
that's
to
the
bed.
thing. I think everyone acts like this season. Exactly. They act like I don't know. And
what happens if we get to the end of the season and we win 3 trophies and qualify for top 4?
Yeah,
I guess De Gea's a massive issue.
Exactly. It just doesn't make sense. Like, look, I get it, because okay, do you know what? Because what I don't want to do, we both agree in it. We both agree. So what I don't want to do is me and you just kind of just
one-sided.
Go at the opposite. Yeah.
And I do get it.
The opposite argument is that, but we can be better now. We don't have to wait. If you make the goalkeeper situation a priority, we can be better now by changing him. We can still win the trophy. We can still win things like the Carabao Cup and Europa League. Well, we won't be in that next year, but do you know what I mean? Yeah. We can still win big things, and keepers can still make saves, plus be able to kick better than him at a better ratio. So let's go for that now. We've had 1 year of fine, get Martinez and Casemiro and Anthony and these types of players, Ericsson, etc. We've had that. We can get a striker, and we can get a new keeper. Like sell him. Don't give him this new deal. Stop keeping him around. We can change it now and be better. That's their argument.
Yeah. Look, I've said before, I don't necessarily disagree that if the right person became available, then maybe you wouldn't consider it. But if that report's accurate, they're saying, well, they have looked and the price is just too much at the moment for the priority of the position that it is. And then you have to start them weighing up the priorities, don't you? We're saying striker first. Then we're saying what? Midfielder? We're thin on midfielders anyway at the moment. So you would say definitely need a midfielder. Don't know what's going to happen with Sabitzer as well. So we could be another midfielder light. So we need another midfielder. And we don't know how much that's going to cost us. Also, 3, who's actually going to be available in the summer? Like that's an important thing as well. I always say this when it comes to
David
transfer
Raya is the
windows.
obvious one, isn't
Yeah,
he?
David
He
Raya is
hasn't
the
signed it,
obvious one, and maybe he might be the option again, depending on how much that would cost United. I'm not sure. Maybe you could do a situation whereby you get rid of a Dean Henderson, or you use Henderson as part of a deal for something like that, right? You could do that, couldn't you? Say, look, we'll give you this amount of money, plus we'll give you Dean Henderson. We're already giving you a goalkeeper there. You could work that out, maybe. And then I wouldn't be opposed to having David Raya and David De Gea still there at the club at the same time, and then fight it out, like you said, with the Leno Ramsdale thing. It kind of,
yeah.
It was.
Arteta didn't do it straight away.
He brought him in, and then Ramsdale came in for when Leno sort of dropped out, and then it kind of happened like that. And that could be totally a thing to do. But I think that the thing I really push back on is, like you said, the reaction to this news today is where it's like, why are we even bothering negotiating with him? They should let him go on a free. And then what? And then what are we going to do? That to me, it's just, I don't understand that part of it. I totally get the distribution thing, and maybe that's where we want to get to in the future. But also the manager, he's the one that's making the call, and he's seemingly happy with what we've got at the moment. And making a mistake as well, this new contract that David De Gea will get, because he will sign, it ain't going to be for a year. So he's going to be around for at least 2, maybe 3, maybe even longer than that. So he's going to be around for a while. And, again, that's just the crux of the situation, really, isn't it? Like you said, for me, I'm not in the same way that if Ten Hag and the club had decided to do the opposite and said, nope, we're getting a new goalkeeper, we're going down that. I wouldn't be fussed, but I'd be like, okay, cool.
100%.
That's
100%.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of indifferent, to be honest,
right.
about the decision.
That's just it. Because if David De Gea did leave, or they did get a new keeper this summer and started to phase him out, and people like, see, even Ten Hag thought it. See, yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm cool. Like, that's fine. But the noises that we're hearing, and again, I know he backs his players in public, and you can't believe everything in the media, but the general consensus of how he talks about David De Gea, that's not just like trying to jump to the defense of someone who's really, like when he talks about Harry Maguire, who isn't in the team, isn't playing very well, etc., and says he will play a part this season. Hey, there's, he's a team. It's about the team. But when he does interviews about David De Gea, you can feel how important he thinks he is. And for him to change, people act like this position is not a super, super pressurized position.
That's the
like
key.
Gary Neville said. He said Manchester United goalkeeper is the most scrutinized position in English football.
Different.
And it's really is
different.
like it is. I know that's no disrespect to the other big clubs or whatever, and everyone can make their own case. But just the general consensus of what he's saying about how heavy the shirt can weigh on you, just you as a goalkeeper, as a keeper, it's a very isolating position as it is. You are part of the team, but you're kind of not. It's you. And you have to. It's you between the sticks. It's you and that ball. It's you keeping that ball out the back of the net, and it's you in the pressure moments. And when you make a mistake, they usually end up in goals. That's the difference with goalkeepers. You can't get away with it when you miss a couple chances as a striker, or you give a few loose balls away and in midfield, or you're a defender and someone gets past you and someone else comes across. Someone else very rarely bails you out if you make a mistake as a keeper. You might get lucky if you miskicked it and someone runs back and makes a goal line block. But most of the time, high percentage of errors that you make will result to goals. And someone even said on Twitter, like, he saves us point. Some of the saves most of the saves he's made are after him making mistakes. Like, not true.
That's not true.
Like,
That's not true. Again, I've seen those clips.
You're just making up lies.
Have you seen them whereby a ball, and again, claiming crosses, he doesn't do as much as other keepers do, and you would say he needs to do more of that. Doesn't do it. That's a problem. Totally agree with that. But I've seen stuff on social media whereby, like, he'll punch a ball or whatever, they'll speed through like 2 minutes.
What actually happens in between that?
And then it will go in and they'll go, see, you can trace everything back minutes in games and stuff like that. And also another thing I push back on, and I do feel really passionately about this part as well, is he will make, world-class saves. And it's not even like overhyping. He has made world-class saves this season. And people go, that's what it's supposed to do. That's what it's supposed to. If that's what
now they want to say what keeper's supposed to do.
Why aren't other keepers doing that then? Because recently, particularly in the month of March, and totally agree, you can point to that Liverpool game and go, he was shit in that. You can see 7 goals. It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
some of
So
them
was
are like, oh,
Bruno.
he can do
It's
much
fine.
about it.
Everyone was.
He was
Everyone was crap.
poor
Shaw
in
was
that.
crap.
And so, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I look to when we played like Leicester. I look to when we played Fulham. Could have been before we won the game comfortably on paper in the end, could have been a totally different scoreline. We could have been 4-0 down against Fulham.
West Ham,
We could have
I
been
think,
3
was
or
another
4-0
one.
down.
We
West
played
Ham at Old
Ham.
Trafford.
Yeah.
West Ham in the FA Cup and West Ham at Old Trafford in the league. He makes like 2 saves picking it out, the top corner. Totally different. And the thing is, sometimes as a keeper, they do get forgotten about because they just think about the overall result and they go, we won. That's it. And you go, well, actually, the story could have been completely different
Leeds
there.
away.
Leeds, it's
Leeds away.
particularly in the more recent months where we've had to chop and change a lot and we've looked tired and we've conceded more chances. He's made some big saves. That again,
I just think you think more heavily.
Game-winning saves.
Match-winning saves. Exactly. So he's all right, here's the thing, yeah. In my opinion, David De Gea is doing the equivalent to a striker in terms of winning games, like in terms of that effect. So like make the save so that we don't concede in that moment, so we have a chance to go off and win this game. Like, because if you don't make these saves in this moment, we're 2-0 down, game's over, arguably. You know what I mean? Like,
and there's a difference. There's a difference between, like, again, I agree with, if the ball's coming at him, he tips it over the bar, he should make that save. But he's made some saves whereby if the ball goes in, you go, that's a great goal.
That Mitrovic one,
the Mitrovic header, the Willian one wasn't even in replays. The Willian one, he whips it. Literally, it's a great save.
The one, and I know again, because it was a double-edged sword, and I will take this as a 50-50. In the Barcelona game, just before half-time, he gives it to them, and then Casemiro has to come back, and that could have been 2-0 to them.
Absolutely.
I agree. But then in the second half, kind of makes up for it because we've just gone 2-1 up, and I think Jules Koundé has a massive header. It's looping towards the top corner. He comes flying across. And look, the truth is, guys, is that everybody can make cases for either side, and I don't like it because I think David De Gea is fine, and I think he'll move on when the right time is. However, I agree though, you can't have sentiment of players. I ain't just saying it. I don't want David De Gea just to stay around because he's been here for 10 years, over 10 years, and he has just broken the clean sheet record, and it's a romantic side, and how good would it be if we could win another Premier League with David De Gea? And I honestly don't care about that because I respect all of that stuff. I actually feel the way I do based on footballing, like the way I see it. Like he's a keeper who makes big saves. And as of now, in our early development, I can hand on my heart say, I believe David De Gea gets us more points than he costs us. And that's why I don't understand that. And that's why I don't understand how someone can turn the microscope to him and look at it and say, this is a really big problem. This has to be changed right now. This guy is costing us points. That's Harry Maguire. And I'm not trying to be like, it's almost like this has the same energy as someone like Harry Maguire who hasn't been playing, or when he plays poorly, or like, I don't get the witch hunt. I get the whole, he could be better at kicking. But when people say he's useless or we won't do anything with him, we will not get to the next level with him there. Well, hey, I've just seen us elevate this level, and he's been there the whole game, all the games.
Yeah,
all the games.
Again, and people will say, I get ball at his feet, and you get nervous because you don't know what he's going to do. Again, I agree with that. There's a couple of passes he's got away with recently as well, whereby he gave it to Martinez, and there's 3 people around him, and luckily Martinez is good enough that he can get out of that situation. Or the one against Betis where he just kicks it to the player. And that will happen, and that is a problem. And if that gets worse and it does start to cost us points, then maybe that's when you do make the call of, actually, this is really starting to hurt us now. But it's not. That isn't the case at the moment. And I would also say, keep the same energy. If it does go down the route of we do get someone else in and someone does replace him, keep the same energy then. Because whilst they're making good passes, if they're conceding goals, which you go, oh, I don't know about, I don't know about that. Keep the same energy because, and people will say, oh, but when Edison and Alisson are on the ball, they're cut. The fans for Liverpool and City are comfortable. That's a bit of a mistruth as well, because as they start to get closed down, I bet even the Liverpool fans or City fans go, where's this going to go? because we've seen it go wrong before. You know, we saw
Mm.
it against Real Madrid, Alisson, and the same thing, but against in the return leg, and in that game he made great saves, so it balances out because mistakes happen.
Look, and look again. People can bring it depends how you look at your football. Again, like I said, I'm not. You can call me old school or stubborn or whatever you want to call ignorant. It's up to you. But you know, there's a lot of XGs and graphs and stats and stuff like that will have De Gea at the bottom this percent on the bottom that percent, and out of all the keepers he hasn't come for as many crosses. Even the Bournemouth keepers claim more crosses than him and all that. To me, I just go off the eye test and I see Man United third in the table with a trophy in the bag, and he's been a big part of it this season. He hasn't been a passenger. We haven't carried David De Gea. I just go off the eye test until the eye test shows me that he's not that good anymore and he can't play at this level anymore. And I'm convinced that somebody else can definitely come in and do better than him. Then I'll feel the way I feel. I will. And again, that's not me saying if you change him, you're absolutely out of your mind. I just think if you think by keeping him, we're going to be absolutely pony. I just don't see it. And I know a lot of people would disagree with me on that. And that's fine. That's fine. But I just look at it and I just go back to my same statement before we move on. That to me, David De Gea gains us way more points than he loses us. Because we're talking about him individually. We're talking about him individually. So he himself saves us more points, i.e. makes more saves than he does mistakes. Fact. In my opinion, anyway. Actually, I say fact, in my opinion. In my opinion.
Well, again, and people will look at these different stats, won't they? Because they'll say that, when it comes to passing accuracy, he's like the lowest or whatever. Or they'll say, which I think this is one's unfair as well, they'll go, United's goals conceded this season because the goal difference is rubbish. They'll go, see, that's the De Gea thing. You go, that's very much a generalization. Of course, De Gea is a part of that because he's in goal, but still, that's a lot of different things. And because they look at saves, like I think for saves made in the Premier League this season, David Raya's top with 108 and De Gea's kind of in the middle, 71. But Alisson's only made 8 more saves than him. Or if you want, Edison's the lowest because, again, their defense is better. So
that's how you got to see it.
That's
so many
all about
factors
interpretation. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's about interpretation.
Exactly, and it's just weird. But the latest on it is that David De Gea has reportedly refused or rejected the first offer put down by Man United. That was by Laurie Whitwell, actually. So was it Laurie Whitwell? I think it was. So really, really credible. I know Laurie when you know him, and he ain't going to be writing stuff. Like, I don't see Laurie as someone who writes stuff that is just hearsay. Really good journalist and always make sure he pays attention to detail. So that's interesting to hear him say that. But also we have to reiterate that there's also a calm stance around it, and Man United expect him to sign a new deal. They still want him to sign a new deal, and David De Gea still wants to stay. So this isn't a case of is he going to be leaving now? At this far, anyway. What will be interesting to see, some people go, the cheek, can't even kick properly, and he's refusing the first deal. Cheek, there'll be that side of it as well. Do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. That is the latest with David De Gea. Also, just a little bit, we wanted to talk about some players.
Have you seen the Rashford thing? Have you seen the Rashford thing?
Well,
that's breaking in the last couple of minutes.
500K.
Well, no. This is even better. So, So in the last couple of minutes at the time of recording this, there's a story today about Rashford.
Oh, wow.
Contract talks are going to ramp up as we get towards the end of the season. That came from Rob Dawson from ESPN. Now, there was another article written by Jeremy Cross from the Daily Star, which again, even you would look at the outlet and you'd kind of go, again, I think suggesting that he was always Marcus Rashford's handlers or his representatives were making these big demands for contracts or anything like that.
John Cross has deleted that, sorry.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Rashford has responded and gone in very, very hard. He said, he's put it on Instagram and on Twitter. He actually responded to the article itself on Twitter saying, just before this one starts to do the rounds, it's complete nonsense. The club and myself have been respectful to one another, and that's how it will remain. My focus is purely on finishing as well as possible in the league and winning trophies. He also continued this on Instagram saying, another non-story flying around about my advisors and me making demands. It's complete nonsense. Again, my aim and the club's aims are to finish as high as possible in the league and to try and win a cup or two. #focus. So basically, don't start putting stories out there saying that Marcus Rashford is demanding an exorbitant amount of money, because Marcus Rashford himself will go on social media and go, that is bullshit.
Bullshit, man. Carl Pilkington, bullshit, man. And that is, and you know what?
Bullshit.
Yeah, actually, the show's taking a little bit of a twist, actually, because fair enough. Good on him, because what will happen then is all that will happen straight away. Who does he think he is? One good season, trying to get £500,000 a week. And, Marcus Rashford doesn't have to say that. He doesn't have to say anything. He can just do this, carry on working, etc., etc. But he's probably a bit pissed off. People talking shit about him going away for a couple of days with misses to New York, like he's not allowed to do that. And then you get this, and then John Cross from the Mirror has immediately taken that down as well. And I like that. And then he's obviously put that on Instagram. And
the question is, again, why is KG calling me? Shall I answer it?
It's probably about the Rashford thing. Yeah, answer it.
KG, you're live to recording on United View.
Shit.
What do you have to say for yourself?
It's one of those. It's one of our health calls as well. I was trying to buy the Nutri bullet so I can get the right one.
Ask him about Rashford.
To see which one I should go for.
He's actually called me because he's buying a blender.
Right. Okay.
Well,
while he's buying the blender, ask him about Rashford or tell him.
Yes. So this is quite an interesting story. I want to get your initial reaction to this. So there was a story written about Marcus Rashford in the Daily Star saying that his handlers, his representatives, were asking for, what was it, like 500k, something like that, Flex? 500k for a new contract. Rashford has responded not only to the story on Twitter, but also the aggregators on Twitter, saying just before this one starts to do the rounds, it's complete nonsense. The club and myself have been respectful to one another, and that's how it will remain. My focus is purely on finishing as well as possible in the league and winning trophies. What do you think?
He's staying. Rashford's staying. Rashford's going to sign a new contract. Just right listening to that. Rashford's going to stay. Rashford's going to sign a new long-term deal. It'll be a deal that makes sense. It's good for Rashford, good for the club. And I think we should be excited.
What do you think about him responding? I mean, it was always that he was going to stay, but him sort of coming out going, don't.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It just goes to show the relationship that one, he understands how powerful social media is, but it's the relationship that he has with the club and the will I say the manager, really. That's what it comes down to. So all the way round, you could only be excited by news like this. If you're looking at it fairly, and objectively, this makes sense. This is brilliant. So I think that I'm happy that he's responded to the people. But it just goes to show how comfortable he is in the Man United kit, because before there used to be so many rumors and stuff, and he wouldn't come out and say things like this. So you got to say what's changed, and what's changed is his relationship with Ten Hag, making him one of the most feared players in world football.
The best thing is as well is he's responded, and pretty much everyone that wrote that article or posted that all deleted.
Embarrassment.
So that's when you know it's rubbish, then, isn't it? When you put the player, the person that does it,
they could double down and say, "Well, no,
exactly." Remember before?
Let me say what I want to say on the show, because I say, when I say that thingy, O'Hara, Jamie O'Hade, and all these other guys, they just make stuff up. So I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say on these shows, because we're no different. They kind of have a source, but it's not really a source. And they can just say stuff and they get away with it because they happen to be on a respected platform. But a lot
sometimes it's not even a source. Sometimes it's just lie. They ain't even got sources.
Yes. Flex says sometimes it's not even a source. Yeah, it's not. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes, like I said, remember, was it Christian Folk last year? Remember when someone put something out about, I can't remember who it was about, and they sort of quote tweeted it and was like, "Yeah, this is rubbish." And then they came back and went, "It ain't rubbish. I've spoken to so and so, whatever." Yeah. This is not the case here. It's literally Rashford gone, "That's a lie," and they've gone,
"That's a lie."
Might have been.
Yeah. And I hope that person owns it and says, "Well, you need to talk to people in your team, because you always try to deflect." Nah, mate, that's your L. Hold it.
Yeah.
And the other one was the killer one for me was this guy has been getting all the ratings because he's been on it with this with the takeover, and everyone was like, Wednesday 9:00 bids going in. You lot knew nothing. Yeah, the bid's in, and then what happened to the bid?
Well, everyone did, didn't they? Everyone went, bids have got in. It's good. I mean, we did a stream, hour 40 minutes. KG.
I remember. They know nothing. That's what I'm saying. People are making it up. We're all ITKs. There's no difference. We just hope that we're going to be right, and we should accept it.
Can KG hear me? He can hear me, can't he?
No, KG can't hear you.
Oh, can you just tell him that?
I can't hear him. What's he saying?
It's good. I can see why he hasn't.
I'm really upset with Flex at the moment.
I'm still fuming.
Yeah. You've literally both just said the same thing at the same time, saying you're upset. Can I just say, as a friend to you both, as a friend, no, seriously, as a friend to you both. Now you can both hear me, and I think it's important sometimes as friends to be honest with each other and sometimes say the more difficult things to you respectively.
I'm upset with Flex.
I will say to you, KG, and again, it's a difficult conversation to have. You're shit at FIFA.
No,
KG, seriously. No, KG, seriously. You are.
I had some bad,
no, you are. You are seriously. I was howling. I was howling with laughter. At one point, when you can pass the ball on the floor and you try and chip the ball. And then go to Flex, you didn't make the run. And then you give the ball away and you go, it happens in the modern game. What are you talking about, KG?
No, because, all right, so
what
this
are
is
you
it
talking
now.
about?
Owen, check this out, yeah? I need you to, because Flex, I had the bad remote that wasn't working, yeah?
That
nothing
one.
wrong with it. As soon as Flex touched the remote, it's like, oh my goodness. Then he started saying, because it's not responsive. I don't shoot like that. I'm telling you right now, the next time I go in, I'm bringing my own pad. But anyway, let's talk about what Flex did. Flex's temper and his anger, he did never talk to a fellow colleague that way. It's disgusting. He called me an idiot over 7 times. I think it's wrong. It's out of order. And he didn't even take responsibility. Then he doesn't take responsibility. Just imagine if you were like Roy Keane and he had nothing to you did everything by the book, it's fine. But no, he was making mistakes. If I made the mistake that he made at the end, I wouldn't have heard the end.
I didn't make a mistake. The computer, no. I'd see.
And also as well, KG, I'd have called you an idiot if for the first game of the season you simmed it. That is unforgivable. That is idiot-like behavior.
But then
that is ridiculous.
He called me an idiot so many times.
You were live. You were live in front of over 1,000 people, and you simmed the first game. And then also, the best thing is, you tried to pretend you didn't. You went, if you just simmed it, you went, no, I didn't. He's a liar. He's talking about his accountability. He literally lied.
Owen, you're not being fair. Listen, Owen, I'm not hearing pushback on Flex and what you told me. I'm rubbish, and you said you basically confirmed that I'm an idiot. Yeah, I want to hear what you have to say to Flex.
Yes, well, Flex.
Right now,
what I would say to Flex is also as well is you've got to be more of a team player. You're too aggressive.
Yeah, I've got to realize I'm playing with someone's shit. You're right.
No, that sounds too nice.
No, and also as well, like you've got to realize, look, you're playing with a child, really, essentially. There, you've got to encourage. You've got to encourage him. And I'm just repeating the words that actually you said to me yesterday, KG, because you called me and said I need to be encouraged, and I agreed. You even said that.
Yeah, I did. But you're not doing. I don't like the way you've. I think I've been mistreated in this moment. I want the people that are listening to the show to hear what I've said. I've said, I have not been treated the right way, and you've given me strong feedback. Flex's feedback it's more kind of a positive. You want it too much.
It's just a reflection of what happened. It's just a reflection of the session.
I would also say to Flex is that, again, you can be too aggressive. You need to probably tone down your language a little bit with your teammate or whatever.
That's right.
Encourage him whilst you're playing. After the game, say that was a disgrace. What are you doing? You can't play FIFA. I don't know what's wrong with you. But during the game, say, look, okay, keep going. You did your best work when you guys were actively talking to each other, going, you go, you stay. You do this, you do that.
And he still pissed it up.
Yeah, and then KG, you would try and chip the ball 5 yards and then
not listening to instructions on purpose.
He's like Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. He's not a rough approach. He does shit things and he blames me. He starts moving his hands about.
He loves Bruno Fernandes, doesn't he?
Well, look. Maybe next time I'll need to be there to coach you guys through it or something like that. Maybe I'll need to be, mediator or something like that because. I'm not happy, and
I'm gonna start my own career just to let people know that I'm not actually rubbish. I just didn't look good with. I don't do good in environments. Again, football players have to be treated correctly, and I wasn't treated correctly.
Wow. Oh, we'll see. We'll see next time.
All right. I still don't know what blender to buy, mate.
Well, it's a conversation for after the show, to be honest, the blender conversation.
No, but I need you to tell me now because I'm in the shop. Should I go for the NutriBullet?
I've got a fruit ninja. Why are we having this conversation? I said we'll do it afterwards. See you in a bit.
Because the thing is, he's actually in the shop and really does want to know now.
He
He's
is.
at the counter.
He
He's
wants
in
to know
front
now.
of the.
I told him yesterday, get a fruit ninja. But
Yeah, so you've told him, and then he still called you to.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry about that,
It's
guys.
gone
But
off the rails.
technically, I suppose now we'll change the title of the show. We will put Flex, Owen, and KG because that was a good 10 minutes. We're not lying. He was actually there. If you're just joining the video, you will have to skip to the minute 30 to listen to KG for 9 minutes. But it's true. He was in the video. He has been in.
I need to get that off my chest as well because I watched that FIFA thing yesterday. My goodness me, he's rubbish. And I don't even play FIFA, but some of those things, honestly, I was laughing. I was nearly in tears, and
so
I didn't even laugh
they were
hard
watching
that much. Like, literally, but oh my goodness me, when he simmed it and then lied. No, I didn't do it. Like some of this stuff, there was a period of time where he gave the ball away like 3 different points in the space of 60 seconds, and at one point, you literally turned to him and went, "What are you doing, Kate?" and the best thing was, he sat there. He sat there like this.
Because he doesn't know what he's doing himself. He doesn't know, bro. And this is what I mean. Like, he talks about this accountability. Like, one time, I think it was Aston Villa. I threw him the ball, yeah, and then basically he couldn't move his body to protect it. Like, he was Casemiro, he was controlling with Casemiro. So I've thrown him the ball. Yeah, there's a little bit of pressure, but he's so unpress resistant that he just lost it straight away. And I gave a bad pass away down the side, and then then they basically
was a couple of the goals though did come from you.
Yeah, like I gave the ball away, that's fine, but and I admit that I did admit it, but he can't defend 1-on-1. He goes, "Nah, I don't really jockey." Like, he just lets them run past. Like, you can make a mistake. The whole point of having a teammate is that they're supposed to be able to pitch in for you. He can't do it.
The best thing was his mistakes, and there were a lot of them, didn't like ultimately lead to a lot of goals, but you would make one bad pass that led to a goal.
And then that's it. It's all my fault.
And then
the computer glitch.
Quiet.
The computer glitch, like that Arsenal thing in the last minute, bro. David De Gea, ironically, done a madness, like a computer glitch, and then I press clear. He ice skated. The guy ice skated and done a back heel. Gave it to flipping Immobile.
Honestly, God. That was so good.
But
good.
Yes,
there
Marcus
you go.
Rashford to finish off on that. Yeah, there you go. That's fake news. There was one last line as well, really, really quickly before we wrap up, about players being available. Obviously, McTominay smashed it. Oh my God, McTominay.
Yeah.
Should we put McTominay up front instead of Weghorst?
That's where he played for the academy. I was thinking that as well. Who decided to play? Was that Jose thing?
It must be, because that's who he came through. I don't think
he academy.
He must have, but before he arrived, maybe started training with the first team, and Jose went, "This guy looks more like a centre
midfielder." Maybe that explains why every single time we've seen him in certain games, we go, "Don't look like a midfielder."
Yeah, no, yeah. But now it's weird. I don't think he looks like a striker either.
No, but
it's weird. It's weird. I tell you what, mate, he's scored more than Weghorst has scored in this little period. It's crazy.
Thing is, though, I think it was Rodri came out and did an interview, and he was like, "Yeah, the problem is with Scotland, they're rubbish, and we lost to them, blah, blah, blah." And they were sort of saying, "Actually, you know what, poor. Spain, you've lost some really bad teams. Actually,
Spain are crap now.
They're not even that good. Pass to nothing though, with nothing at the end."
I went to 2 of their group games. No, I went to them against Morocco actually, and I went to another group game.
They're such a dull watch.
They are shit. Pass. I got no bite, no nothing. But anyway, yes. But yes, there were some players basically who can leave the club potentially.
Yeah. Yes, so this goes back to the FFP kind of situation. In order to do business in the summer, we might have to get rid of some people. Rob Dawson says Eric Bailly, Alex Telles will be allowed to leave Manchester United permanently after loan spells this season. Anthony Elanga and Brandon Williams are likely to be made available on loan. And Phil Jones and Axel Tuanzebe are also set to leave. Of course, Jones's contract is expiring. I don't know if that's the same with Tuanzebe or not, but I guess he'll be going. I would probably think Brandon Williams might go permanently as well. They're 2 names in Tuanzebe and Williams that if they weren't injured last year, they'd have been gone. Yeah, I've 100% they'd have been gone over the summer. And Bailly's got that thing in his contract with Marseille. If they qualify for the Champions League, goes. I don't know if they are going to qualify, but they'll still look into it. Telles, I mean, he's at Sevilla and they're doing terribly.
So, not now, but at the end of the season, they're not going to do obligation.
But he'll go. He'll
go. Move. Yeah, 100%. I think. Look, to wrap up on that, it's the same faces that you'd expect to be in that mix, because Man United, also what Eric Ten Hag has to do is trim this squad down massively with players who are way away from the fray, and that's how you can rebuild properly, to get like real depth in there.
Exactly. We've
and
got
then
a lot
the
of
players
players,
at the top,
but not a lot of depth. There's a
not
difference,
a lot of
isn't
depth,
there?
because a lot of them players are out on loan, just expending our money, like
Or just
got
not
to pay
good
them
enough.
half the wages, or exactly, and then all in the squad are not good enough. So he has to trim that squad down and start getting the quality that he wants, and also he has to generate funds. And it's the usual kind of faces or names would hear towards the top of the funds list, which would be Harry Maguire, Dean Henderson, Tellez, Lindelof potentially. He's spoken at international break saying it's frustrating. We'll get to the summer, we'll see. That's the language of someone who's would look at it. You can tell. I know you said. I think you said when we was talking about it, and I said I think Lindelof will go as well. I remember you thought he would stay. I can't remember what show that was.
I think Maguire will go.
Yeah, I just think they might both go, because I just think Lindelof will find himself back in the same position, because Maguire will go and we'll get the young up and coming guy who Ten Hag really wants, kind of thing, and Lindelof will still be fourth choice. I don't think his position won't change.
I think this is his perfect role.
I think he'll want to go back.
Lindelof.
Yeah, at Man United it is, but I think he would go. What's Lindelof? Lindelof must be what, 28, 29? Might even be 30. Might even be 30, Lindelof.
When he came to United, he was young, wasn't he?
Okay, so maybe 28 then. He
28.
must be around 28. So Lindelof's 28. I think he'll want to go play. He knows he's never going to be the number one guy. Stay and be fourth choice? He's just been fourth choice all this year. Would he want to be fourth choice again?
Or do you stick for another year knowing I might be fourth choice, but we might win some stuff this year, and then maybe I'll go?
It's all on him. I think if he knocks Eric Ten Hag's door, he'll get sold. But like you said, if he does decide to do that and go, it's still Man United. I don't know if I can go up levels from here. So it's still Man United. And some people like to hold on to that for as long as they can. Got to protect your family, secure your family on a nice deal. You've got maybe 3 years left on your deal, or 2. I don't know how much he's got, but say he does have 3 years left or 2 years left. Yeah. You're like, do you know what? We'll go again. So I just got a feeling he'll leave as well. But there you have it. There's the latest Manchester United news. Interesting to see Marcus Rashford speak out. Interesting to hear KG ring in for advice on
this video is not meant to go this long, by the way.
No, it wasn't. But hey, it's United viewing it. That's what it is. We'll be back tomorrow morning with another video for you as well, and we are out of here. Take care, guys. Peace.